Hi everyone, so it has been a minute since I was on here with a vlog, and the reason for that is that this DIY project was huge. It lasted genuinely until the day before I went away to Spain, and I've only just now that I've come back had time to move them in and put everything on them, and that project was my bookshelves. They are massive, beautiful, custom made to like the size that I need them to be, and I'm super happy with how they turned out. It's not all been plain sailing, but I'm going to leave that for the vlog. Once we got the measurements all worked out for the bookshelves, the first thing we decided to do was to make the actual shelves, and we did this using reclaimed floorboards, which have, it's called a tongue and a groove, where they basically slot into each other. And so to do this, the first thing was to cut them down to size using a radial arm saw. This was the first time that I've been allowed to use the saw without supervision, and after a couple of hitches, I did get into it and I didn't lose any fingers in the process. So I was measuring it, I was making a starting notch just to double check I'd positioned everything right. I then went in and made the big cut, and this has been going quite well for a while, but just shows don't speak too soon because look what came next. So for the wooden bookcase shelves, the structure is pretty simple. We're taking two long planks and one plank cut in half that have these little grooves in them so they slot into each other, and just whacking those together and leaving them 24 hours once they're secured in place to just firm up. The first step in the process is to run the planks through the planer to get rid of the discoloration from the dust. Step number 2, once we've given it a quick brush down to get rid of dust, is taking some wood glue and whacking some wood glue along the, if we're calling it a lip and tongue, again, somewhat questionable, the tongue, I guess, of the two larger pieces of wood. And the third step, which is pretty simple actually, is just locking them in place. Hi guys, so moving on to the bookshelf legs and stuff, and that is going to require, for the first time in this DIY series, a use of Big Bertha, the most absolutely terrifying saw imaginable. It makes a horrible noise, so I will be staying clear, hopefully, and wearing these because it absolutely terrifies me. Somehow I've managed to not actually get any footage of Big Bertha in use, but you're just going to have to take my word for it that she is big and she is terrifying. And the next thing we did was to just whack them through the planer thicknesser, again to remove any dust stains and get them all down to uniform width. This is a router, and when you switch it on, this little thing in the middle spins around really fast, and this particular one just makes chunk out of the wood like that, and you lower it down however far you want, and this bit at the side stops it from going down further than you want. The only issue is we want ours to be 19mm wide, and this is 12.5mm wide, so we're going to have to go at it multiple times, but that is the theory. Guys, after the first one went so well, disaster has struck. On midway through the second one, a little thing came off, and it did start making a different funny noise, but I didn't think it was like, it didn't do anything like crazy. And then we thought it had gone fine. We just had a look, and it's really not fine. This is the first one. As you can see, it's not that deep.
And it's actually not to do with the depth stop.
Pass was absolutely fine on this one, but then when the second thing came off, it's gone way deeper. Ah! Okay guys, so final update for today. We tried it again. We tried doing a shallow pass and then a deeper pass to try and like ease it, and it's still grown only by 2mm this time though, thank God. So yeah, we're going to order some new collects, is what they're called. Collet, and hopefully that will solve the problem, but shame because I thought we would get it all done today. Okay, so it's a new day. Got some beautiful natural light to perfectly show this absolute mess. So, issues included that we couldn't just find a piece of wood to stick through all of them, because obviously they're 4 different pieces, so they all had to be cut. This wasn't even at one length, so it needed 2 pieces. Could you just focus? Thank you. And then this end was also completely different, so it looks nasty right now, especially in comparison to the first one, which went perfectly. Okay, so I realised there's a bit of a break in the footage, and basically to solve the router situation, I just drove over to my granddad's and got his router instead, brought it back, bish bash bosh, all done. And the next thing to do was kind of try and work out which planks I wanted to go at the top, at the bottom, and just basically give everything an order. Exciting times. We got my granddad's router off him and used it to complete the project. Ooh, smooth. We've sort of repaired the situation where it went badly wrong a bit, and we've got onto the stage where we can, it's called a dry assemble. It's like you just sort of prop stuff up to check that it all goes together nicely, and it does. I'm actually going to struggle to get far enough away to get it all in one, but that's just the bottom shelf. So she just slots in there, and they'll all slot in, and then there's a piece to go in at the back here as well. But yeah, taking shape. I stupidly forgot to take a proper before photo of this, but here we are midway through. Basically, we're now at the stage where we need to prep the shelves. So that means using these planes to smoothen out lumps and bumps and stuff like that. If I'm out of breath, it's because it's actually quite high effort. To start off with, I was actually really bad at the whole planing thing, but throughout this process I have got better. So to start off with, I was on this whole just removing the tongues bit because it was easy and it was the only bit I could do. But I'm pleased to report progress, and I can now do flat surfaces, so that's a win. At this point, the project has genuinely been going on for about 2 months, but we were finally at the construction stage, so that means drilling it, gluing it, whacking it together, as in like literally whacking it with a mallet, and then putting screws through the pilot holes that we drilled. Right, so in the interest of getting it constructed, which it now is, I decided that I would do the dusting and everything at the same time as the varnishing. Bit of a mistake on my part because now it's really quite tall. Like, this is me on tiptoes, just reaching the top of it. And it's a bit of a faff to dust it, but just gonna have to get on with it. Okay, dusting done. Now onto the varnish. And today we are breaking away from my usual Danish oil finishing product and going on to the Dulux Diamond Glaze Varnish. I wish I was sponsored, but I'm not. But yeah, this is the last stage. I'm not sure if we're going to need 1 or 2 coats, but hopefully just 1 and then done. At this point, I'd been away for 2 months, and during that time, Dad had moved my bookshelves into my room. And so when I came home, in amongst the chaos of unpacking, there were so many books on the floor in my room, and the last thing left to do was to put them all onto my bookshelves. And I thought this was going to be a really satisfying time lapse, but it actually cut out halfway through. And the only real satisfying bit is watching the huge pile of books go down. Okay, so excitingly, that is the end of the vlog. The bookshelves are in place and they are looking absolutely beautiful. Got my pothos on there now. This was a massive project and I am so pleased with how it turned out.